Hello, I'm out in the garage carrying on with the French Flatty assembly. I became a little bit concerned about how much the engine stand was sagging, and to be honest I think it's my adapter here twisting at the ends. So I have just put a jack under there now as it's getting heavier and heavier. I have done a couple of things today. I've got this pair of Bob Drake water pumps and I've fitted these. Now the thing about these is they don't require an oil feed, so this is the sort of thing you need when you have a French type block, because there isn't an oil feed for the water pumps. The other thing I did, just what I'm working on at the moment, is I'm getting ready to put this cylinder head on. I'm cleaning up a set of bolts. That one and that one there have been shortened, and I was just about to clean up the short ones, but I remembered that I wanted to do a timing mark. I filed a notch just below where the pointer is, and I did it by the positive stop method. If you haven't seen it, I have detailed it a couple of 3 times before in other videos. It only took me 5 minutes, it was very quick. I just put a clamped piece of metal across there, brought it round, put a mark, brought it round, put a mark, and then use my dividers to go halfway in between. There's my mark for top dead centre. Okay, so water pumps are on. This head went on last night. This head will go on this evening. I'll show you the bolts, they're not bad. These are the short bolts prior to clean up. So I'm going to clean these up, and I need to clean the head as well. Don't even know where the head is. I need to find the head and clean it. Okay, I'll bring it back when there's more to show. I will show you one thing, something that's pretty useful. This is my dirty part of the garage. Right, here is half of flathead valve guide. So what I've been doing is, you can imagine I'm using 2 hands. You hold this bit in your left hand and this bit in your right hand. You can hold that to the wire wheel, and you can just hold this in your left hand and rotate the bolt with the right hand, sitting in there, and it makes it easier to clean the ends of bolts without getting your fingers caught in the wheel. Works really well. Another thing worth mentioning is these are really good. I never had one of these until relatively recently. It was less than a tenner. I just bought it, put it on the grinding wheel, took the grinding wheel off rather, put that one on. It's been brilliant. Done tons of work with it. As you can see, look at this. You know, it does make a mess though, but you know, I don't put anything in here that needs to be kept clean. Okay, I thought I'd show you that. So there's the bolts. I'll show you them when they're cleaned up. There's a little trick to show you to use that for when you're cleaning bolts. So I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Hello. Here's my cylinder deck. I just put a light layer of grease over it. There's the pistons. You can see that they're not 100% perfect. Yeah, can you see that's an odd one? That's a 60 thou. It's all at 30 thou except for that one there. Oh, the thing I forgot to say, look, I've put a plug there, and I've put a plug there, and I've put a plug there as well. You don't actually need to do anything here, but might as well plug it up as leave it open. So just put that gasket in place there, Cross your fingers, hope it's okay. So there's that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to get the head, drop it on. Then I've got the bolts just over there, just on the edge of the camera. And I'm going to just kind of give each one of them just a tiny bit of a greasy coating and put them on. This is the head. It's one of the nicest ones I've ever seen, to be honest. These handles that are made have proven to be pretty handy. Okay, having that one stud helps. Right, take this out of the way now. Because I just had the head standing on these and I went through all the holes with the drill from the other side. A couple of the holes are pretty clagged up, so I'm glad I did that. Then just get a bit of grease on my fingers and kind of roll them like that. Just so they got a little bit of greasy sort of residue on them. I've just been cleaning up these bolts, and to me it felt quite nice to do them in batches of 8, because there's 8 along the top, 8 sort of down the middle, and 8 along the bottom. So there's 8 long ones, another set of 8, but 2 are short. And in this case one of them's a stud. I haven't used any sealant. I'm thinking, you know, what would the lads at Ford have done, or what would the guys at the French military place done? I couldn't see any sign of sealant. Ah, schoolboy error. One of those is a short one. Damn. Well, that one is a short one. Oh, looks like that one's the short one there, look. Yeah, that's a short one. I don't know if the camera will show it, but these are labelled Caro. I think it's 12.0 and UNC. I imagine in France UNC stuff's pretty rare, so these are actually labelled as UNC. So you get 8 short ones along the bottom. French brass long nut, look. I do my own sort of routine or order, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I do the middle bunch, then I do 1, 2, 3, 4, then I do 1, 2, 3, 4, then I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that adds up to 24. Six, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And by counting the numbers, you tend not to miss one. Okay, good. This is what I set them to yesterday, 50. So I'll go to kind of round about 40-ish. I'll put it up to 50. I don't know if you can see it. Don't know if I can see it. Hang on. Go get the right light. Right, move that up to 50 there. There we go. Okay. Okay. I've done okay today. I had a session earlier, then I've had a break and I've come back out and done a bit more. So that's okay. I've got the head on that I wanted to put on. I've run a tap through those holes there, same both sides. And that's all good. They're nice thick-headed bolts, these are. I like these bolts. Yeah, they're the genuine French military ones, not from the hardware store. You couldn't buy these in England anyway from the hardware store. Not with those thick heads like that. Yeah. So there you are. They're you know, quite nicely detailed. And I'd got a couple that were odd, but luckily I got more than one set, so I sorted out so that they're all the same type. Yeah, so that's good. Little roundup then of today's work. TDC pointer and mark. Water pumps found and on. And that head cleaned, all the bolts cleaned, gaskets fitted and head on. So there we are, jolly good. So let's have a think about this then. Well, there's very little now to stop that being fitted. I need, oh that's right, I've got to fit the clutch. Yeah, I've got to sort all this end out yet. I've got to put the bearing in. These are torqued, but I haven't safety wired them. So yeah, there's a little bit more to do yet. But you know, by and large, it's looking like a virtually completed engine, isn't it? Oh no, there's another job I need to do, a big job that I'd forgotten about. Yeah, okay. Can you see something that needs doing? Right in the centre of the screen. Look at that. Wah, wah, oops. No, no holes for the anti-chatter bars. That's a job that needs doing. I know how to do it, and I have done it on another motor. So I will get set up and get those sorted out. I'll also put some plugs in it as well to seal it up. Okay, that'll do for tonight then. That's a good little session. I will continue probably tomorrow. And when I've got more to show, you'll be the first to see it. Okay, cheers then. Bye. Hello. I've just set up my makeshift clamp-on drill to drill the anti-chatter rod hole. Now I've just kind of road tested it on the other side, and I have drilled that hole, drilled and counterbored that hole, so I think that's not too bad. So I thought I would set the camera up on this side as soon as the lighting is better on this side and do it. And you can see that you have to counterbore it because the casting encroaches in that area there at the back. So let's get the camera rolling then and see how I get on. And what I do, I use this electric drill with a universal joint on the end, which is just out of camera shot. This is a 10.5mm drill. Well, a drill that's around about the equivalent of 10.5mm. Maybe I'll put it on low speed. I'll try a different battery. The battery's gone flat. Oh bloody hell, that battery's gone as well now. Jesus Christ. So I'm cussing because I've only got this corded drill and this is an old-fashioned Black & Decker, but it runs pretty fast, which might not be a good thing. Bloody hell, that's wild, isn't it? Okay, good, that's through then. I suppose I could have sharpened the drill. It's always the same, isn't it? Okay. I don't know how this will cope with a super high speed. The reason I have to use that diameter drill is because that spigot there is 10.5mm. I could have used a smaller drill, I know, and then stepped up to it, but hey, where's the fun in that? Something to work a bit hard, isn't it? It's much better controllable with the thingy bob drill. Still, it's working. Okay, right, good. You can see that it has done the job. This one's 11.5. I ain't going to show this, it's so crap. Okay, good. Right. Okay, not exactly textbook, but done the job. Whew. Okay, jolly good. The reason that I left the job till now was because I didn't want to do it while the motor was in bits, because I didn't want all the bits to go inside. Righto, okay, usual complete disaster like normal. Okay, righto. Anyway, that's my little improvised drilling machine. and I've done a couple of these now, and it did work pretty well using the cordless, and it's another little job ticked off the list. I'd somewhat forgotten about that, but I know that I did intentionally leave it until after the motor's in one piece. What you might be able to see here, bloody hell, that would have been noisy, wouldn't it, if I'd have left that in there? That would have been noisy if I'd have left that in there. There's the flywheel. I fitted the bearing in the middle, and I put some wire on the bolts. I'm not the world's most tidiest safety wire person, and I saw somebody doing it yesterday, and I thought, okay, maybe I'll get some of those special pliers. So I'm just going to give this a clean and put the clutch on. 10-inch clutch. When you need a pilot bearing for your early Ford, don't look for an early Ford pilot bearing. Just look for a 6203 2RS, and if there's other letters shoved in there, that means something to them. It don't mean anything to me. And you just get one of them from your local bearing supplier, and that fits generators as well. And it's 17mm bore and 40mm on the outer diameter, and that was a metric bearing that was used by Ford right back in the 30s, and possibly before as well. Anyway, like I say, just look up those, and you can probably just get them from locally, from a bearing supplier. I got these relatively locally. You don't have to buy early Ford parts, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, righto. So there's my little job. 2 of those, 1, 2. So that makes this engine adaptable now into my pickup, or any other early Ford really. Righto, I'm running out of things to do on this now. Well, that's the last of the jobs now. I've got to fit the clutch, then I can start looking at fitting it back in the truck, dodging between the weather. Righto, I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Cheers then, bye. Hello, righto. I've skimmed 60 thou off the heads of these bolts. I looked through all of the bolts that I've got, and I found the ones that had the holes drilled the furthest down in the bolt head. And I've skimmed them down 60 thou, and I've matched all the thicknesses of the heads. So in other words, I've done them 60 thou and then took a few more thou off the thickest ones to get the heads exactly the same thickness. I've fitted them, I've torqued them up, and I've sort of used this, it's actually MIG wire to safety wire them, because it's thinner, easier to form, and I felt more confident in being able to fit this wire and not have it sticking up, so it's just twisted there. Okay, so hopefully that should give me enough room for this to run, at least for a while. I think it'll be a long time before it wore enough to start rubbing on there. In the meantime, I will try and, you know, find a better clutch plate. I think the clutch plate, I think this, although it's the right spline and the right diameter, is supposed to be for a F100, you know, with a Y block, and I kind of just went by the diameter and the spline, hoping it might be okay, but it looks like it's not. But that sits down now without catching. Okay, right. Another little disaster averted, hopefully. Not recommended, you know, make sure you get the right clutch plate. What I noticed, if you look at this 11-inch clutch, what I noticed, if you look at this 11-inch clutch, that there's the springs and everything don't stick back at all. So that's the difference. Okay, so hopefully this should go together okay. There's the pressure plate. I've cleaned this. This is one of those, you know, ones that don't have the adjustable fingers. Okay, you don't need to see me bolt that on. That should be all pretty well routine. Okay, right, thanks very much then. I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Hello. I'm standing up near the vise on my workbench here. So I'm on this little bit of raised level. It's just gone dark, and I've realised that trying to arrange to put the engine in the truck while the weather's going to be nice is just not going to happen. I've looked at the forecast, it's going to be raining for a week. So I've just took the last few hours of daylight to shuffle the sedan and the truck, and the sedan is now sitting outside under a tarp, which isn't ideal, but it's all I could do really, swap the two cars that were in that position. Bear in mind the truck's not running because I've got the engine out of the truck. I need to do a lot of tidying up because, like I say, I am a very messy worker. I need to tidy that table, move all this stuff here in the corner, move the engine, move the Roadster forward into that little niche there to free me up some room here to put the engine in the truck. So that's what I'm going to do over the next few days. I've become a little bit concerned about my engine stand adapter because I realised that the engine was sagging more and more and more as I added weight to it. And what I realised was that this angle iron piece here is bending. It's twisting on the end and twisting on that end. I tipped it upside down like this, and I kind of pressed on it, and it went down, and it went down, and it went down, and didn't spring up. So in other words, I was in effect bending it straight, or putting a bend in it in the opposite direction. So when I've taken this engine off the stand, I will do something to either make a new one of these or strengthen this one. I painted the head. I painted the engine. I just did it matte black or satin black or matte black. I thought I was going to be able to fit the engine today, so I just came out very quickly and just put a coating of spray paint on it, but it isn't very good at all really. But I don't expect this to be a long-term engine build. I'm building it just to prove out whether the repair to the exhaust bowl is effective or not. So the engine's ready to go, other than a couple of little things, and I need to realign the clutch, and it's time to put this motor in the truck once I've tidied up. Okay, thanks very much then. You take care, and I'll catch you next time. Hello. I loosened off the pressure plate and aligned the thing, and that now goes in okay. So that's good. The pressure plate bolts, the torque is 17 to 20 foot-pounds. So here's my torque wrench. with a reducer, and I've just done them, so but you really need that 1/4 inch drive on these to get down there onto the bolt, and then you can, you know, I wouldn't really normally do it one-handed, but you'll see the thing shoot out there. You need this 1/4 inch drive socket like this, and this wobble drive works well. It's actually a 13mm, but that gets right down there then and onto the bolt, because it's more awkward when they're not all the way in, but I did manage to do them okay with this. This is a 10-inch clutch, and you might need to just turn the motor a little bit to you know, get them in a good place for good access. Okay, right, back in a bit, see you later. See this, look, this is 3/8 UNF brass nut. What I need is a M10 by 1.25 brass nut. Okay, so I'm going to put this in here. One-handedly, which isn't the best. Right, bit noisy this lathe. Always put the chuck key away. There we are. M10 by 1.25. Over that length of thread, and with the slight increase in diameter, you can kind of get away with it. So there's a set of exhaust manifold nuts for the French flathead for one side. You can buy M10 by 1.25 nuts, but I think the hex is bigger and you need this small hex. So anyway, that's what I've done. So I'm just showing you that you can, you know, within certain limits, cheat the threads a bit. And there's some that I've already done. This one actually is 3/8 UNF, because that's that stud that I replaced. But these others are ones I've already done. But here's one that I've just done. Look. Perfect. I'll put these away and they'll be ready to go when I want to put it back together. Okay, there you go. Just showing you that you can sometimes cheat a bit within certain limits. Okay, thanks a lot then. Catch you on the next one. Bye. Okay, I've moved the orange table over there. Got rid of the temporary table that was in front of the Roadster. Rolled the Roadster forward. Got the engine moved to there. I took the inlet manifold off to save a bit of weight. And I got the engine hoist there. So I'm about done for today really, but tomorrow I'll come back out and pick the job up and start putting it into the truck. Okay, righto, thanks very much then. All good progress being made. Take care and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye. Hello. I've been getting the engine ready to put into the truck. The hood is tied back there, the bonnet. Hello Meg. Alright babe, what are you up to? I've put my manifolds on with the brass nuts that I made, which look very nice. I've tried something different this time. I've put the cross piece on the exhaust. That may or may not be a good idea, I don't know. But it's certainly easier to put it on when it's hanging there than it is when it's, you know, under the truck. I've fitted that union. I've tightened that. I've fitted these plugs, that plug and that union there. I've done it all the wrong way around, haven't I? I've got my engine the wrong way around. That one is supposed to be over here. Okay, so I'll swap those, and then I'm going to kind of offer the engine in, and fingers crossed it'll go in. If not, I'll have to take that exhaust off, but then it'll definitely go in. I haven't got a jack or anything under the transmission. I think I'm going to have to come in with the jack and do that. And I've got to make sure that the anti-chatter rods line up as well. Got my little studs on there, look. Righto, let's make a start. Okay, the exhaust is caught on the battery tray. I wanted to try and do it without removing the battery tray if possible. It's also on the exhaust down here as well, on the exhaust pipe down here. That exhaust pipe is on the cross member, and that stud there is on the battery tray. Let's just move that over a little bit. Okay, it's not happy at all. I'm going to take it out again. It's just not happy at all. It's all cockeyed. That exhaust is making it awkward. So I'm going to lift it all the way out. Well, most of the way out, let's say. I give up on the anti-chatter rod on that side. It's just too awkward to get onto it. Okay. Okay, this is not going very well really, but okay, something's just made a noise. Okay, I need to. Can you see down in there the input shaft? I think it needs to go a little bit that way. Oh, did you see that then? Did you see that then? I just moved it very, very slightly and the whole engine came towards me. I hope I caught that. That's just a little trick that I've been using. I hope I caught that, but I don't know if you saw it before, but I just moved it very slightly and I saw the engine come towards me. I've got the gearbox jacked up quite high. So hopefully that will, and can you see that the pin has come through? The pins, that one as well. So that's good. So I can shove it in a bit further now. So that's the secret on these. Get the gearbox as high as you can, because you can't get the engine down, because the engine mounts are trying to get caught up with the Y piece. I think that's actually gone. Okay, good. Right. I've got to be aware that the gearbox is jacked up. So I'll just lower the engine gently and I'll lower the jack. I'll put a couple of bolts in and I'll get it resting down on the mounts. I'll put all the bolts in, except one. You can even put the bottom bolts in from the top. Yeah, you've got to have it just dangling in free space when you're trying to align it. You can't have it touching anywhere really, otherwise it just won't go. The basic part of the job is done. The engine is in the truck, bolted down on the mounts, bolted to the gearbox except for one bolt. The choke rod kind of got in the way a little bit. I failed to do up the oil pressure sender on the way in, which would have helped a lot. But the manifolds are on, the starter is on. I've got to put that exhaust cross piece on, but I'm going to brake now because that was quite hard work. That was, it just didn't seem to go very well. I kind of scuppered myself a bit by trying to do it with that exhaust cross piece in place, but I think if it was, you know, a ½ inch different here and there, it would have gone in. But I thought I'd try it, but it didn't work. So I'm going to do a sanity check, check all the ports, check down all the ports, and I will at least place the inlet manifold back on top. I'm going to check down all them ports, make sure they're all clear, check in there, make sure that's all clear. I sometimes put a magnet in there, but I just haven't got one to hand at the moment. But no, it's in. I mean, you know, this is a 255 cubic inch motor plus 30 plus one at 60, so God knows what that makes. So I will come out when I'm feeling a bit more refreshed and start reassembling, but the basic job is done, and I would never have done it if I'd got the truck outside. That is why it was important to bring it in. And I have managed to work relatively tidily I've been putting the tools back as I've used them. Bit unusual for me. Okay, right. Should be relatively easy to get this back in one piece now. Okay. Thanks very much for joining me then. Cheers then. Bye. I'm out in the garage again. It's the day after, and I have been working on hooking up the things to the engine that need to be hooked up. I've just fitted the inlet manifold. Remember, it's got that PCV underneath, so that's an unknown. I've fitted the anti-chatter rods. I had to take them both off and put them in the lathe and just reduce the diameter of the shoulder that comes against the back of the block, because those counterboards that I did were a tiny bit small. So they're all in and hooked up. I have done the engine mounts up. I had to do a bit of a rework on the oil pressure hookup. I took it off that location down there and put a plug in there, and up you can see it further down there on the side. Look, I've gone in from the side down there. That was easier to get to with a spanner. I had it hooked up in the other position, but actually it stripped the thread where the nut goes on the end. So I've found another fitting. Luckily I'd got one. I fitted that, and that's on as well. I've said it before, but that's the very important thing there. Look, you flick the spring off the accelerator so the accelerator sticks straight up. With it sticking down, it's a nightmare trying to get the engine in. Righto, I'll bring you back when there's more to show. Hello. Other than the grill centre and the bumper and putting oil and water in the engine, I've finished my little session today. I've just been and done all the exhaust pipes underneath. I did have jack stands under there. Don't worry about me just using the jack. I've just put them away. I was just about to let it down. But what I've realised is that it's far easier to put the bumper on if you don't have the radiator in place. So I'm going to have a break now, but seeing as I haven't actually finished fitting the radiator, I might pull it out again and do the bumper and then put it back in. I don't know. I'll see how I feel tomorrow. But I'm going to pack up now because I've had a good long session today. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my age or something, but you know, I feel a bit tired. But the motor is in. Oh, and I've got to put all the you know, the floor back in and the mats and everything on the inside. But by and large, it's 99% there now. So hopefully I will be able to drive the truck tomorrow, drive the truck and bring the sedan in. Okay, good little session there. Nothing outstanding to report. I did seem to struggle a bit with the exhaust underneath, but no, I've got there now, so okay, all good. Ready for another little session tomorrow then. Get it finished off. Cheers then, bye.